Hello and welcome back. In this video we are going to insert some data into our table that we created in the last videos. And so I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and let's go ahead and, which by the way, I need to remember to tell you guys to comment, like, and subscribe. On YouTube alone, I looked it up, and 91% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. So it would help me out a lot if you find these videos useful. Please subscribe. It's only a click, and that will help me. So anyhow, let's go ahead now and bring up our examp server. So for me, it's opt lamp examp start, and now that is up and running for me. And we're going to connect to our database by typing in /opt lamp ben MySql, and then I'm going to do -u root, and now I'm connected to my database through the command prompt here, and I'm going to use the use command and type use db enter, and now it says that my database has changed. And so now we can look at our database, or our tables that we have available to us, by typing show databases. Oops, I meant show tables. We want to see our tables in our database. So we have one table right now called users. And if we go ahead and type describe users you can see our fields that are available to us that we set up in the previous videos. So now what we want to do is actually add some rows to our table. So we have columns. Now we want to store data by adding rows. And the way we do that is with a command called insert. So what we're going to do here is we're going to type the keyword insert, and then we're going to type into, because we need to tell it what table we're inserting to. And in our case, we only have one table, and we want to insert data into our users table. So insert into users. Then what we're going to do is tell it the field list that we're going to be sending in. So in our case, what we want to do is open and close some parentheses, and inside of there, we're going to use backticks. Now backtick, don't confuse these with a single quote. These backticks are the character right above your tab key on the US keyboard or English keyboard, QWERTY keyboard. It's the backtick. Okay, so inside of there, we're going to give it a username, and there is no S there. And then we do a comma. Now notice we aren't going to add ID, because remember, ID is an auto-generated number because it's an auto increment. So I'll show that later. So we're just going to do username, password, and we're doing a comma in between each one of these. So in this case, we have F name, L name, phone. Oops, I need to put that. Now, you don't have to put these in backticks, but it's just it's a little safer to do so. So there we go. We have this, so it's insert into, and then our table name, and then inside parentheses we're going to tell it what fields we're going to be adding. Okay, now we wouldn't have to add all of these if we don't want. So let's go ahead now and add one. So what we do next is we type in, I'm just going to go down to the next line, you don't have to, but we type in values, and then what we're going to do is put a open and close some parentheses, and now we need to actually put the data that we're putting in. So for username, I'm just going to put C Parham, and I put that inside of, now these are single quotes because this needs to be a string, because if you look, our username is expecting a variable character. So that needs to be a string. That's a string type. So let's go ahead and add that. And then for password, I'm just going to put just password. For F name, I'm going to put Curtis. Last name, Parham. Now these are all strings, so they're going to be in quotes. Phone, I'm just going to put 55. Well, we'll do string again. I'm going to do 555 space 333-1234. And for email, we'll just do parhamcurtis@mailinator.com. .com, and then I'm going to do a semicolon and hit enter. Now, this values structure has to be in the same order as our schema structure up here. So when we put this semicolon here, we're telling it what order we're going to pass data into it. Okay, because this could have been in any order, but when we put in our data down here, it needs to be in the same order. So first we had our username, then our password, then our F name, last name, so on and so forth until our email. So now, how do we see this? And we haven't talked about this, but what we're going to do is we're going to say select star from users. Okay, so what this is the star is kind of a keyword itself, but what this means is select all. So select all from users, and this is going to select all rows, but this star specifically means columns. So let me show you what that means. Let's just run this by doing a semicolon and enter. And now it shows us our database structure. And what it has is the first row up here is our columns. And then below that, you see that we have a row. And this row has an ID of 1, and then a username is C Parham. The password is password. First and last name is Curtis Parham. Phone number, and then we have our email. Now, we don't have to show all of this. We could do, and I guess I'm just going to go ahead and teach the select command while we're here. We could do a comma separated list. So what I could do, oh, and by the way, notice how there is a value put here of 1, even though we didn't tell it to add an ID. And that's because our ID column is an auto increment. So now let's just say I only want to know the ID. So we can do select ID, F name, and L name from users, semicolon, enter. Now this returns a table, and instead of using our star to get back all of our columns, I only cared about the ID, F name, and L name. So I can limit what I return back by telling it specifically, instead of using star, I said I want these 3 columns back, and I want them from the users table. So what that does then is it just returns the 1 row, and it's Curtis Parham. So let's go ahead now and add a couple more rows to our database so that we have a little bit more information to look at. So what I'm going to do here is type in insert into, and then we give it our table name. So users, our table we want to add to is our users table. And then inside of parens here, let's just do username, and now remember these are backticks. So username, F name, yeah, that's fine. F name, and then L name. And that's all I'm going to do, but I'm going to add multiple rows, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to hit down, and I'm going to say values, and I'm going to hit enter again. And now what I can do is I can actually do a bunch of rows in one command. So let's add T Parham, comma, for the first name Tony, for the last name Parham. And then what I can do is outside of this paren here, I can do a comma, and we can add multiple rows by doing the same thing again. So now we'll add J Parham. First name Jules, last name Parham. Now there's quotes around all of these. I'm going to add another one, so we'll just add another comma, and we'll continue down like this. So I'm going to add M Parham, Marcellus Parham, and we'll add one more. We'll do B Parham, Benjamin. Now you can use your own family members or whatever. That's what I'm doing here. But when I'm done and I've gotten all of the rows that I want to add, I can just do a semicolon and hit enter. And now you can see that I added 4 rows. So 4 rows affected. So now if I want to see them all, I can just type select star from users, semicolon. And now you can see that I have a table, and it's returning everything. Now I didn't fill out the password or the phone number or the email for all of these rows, so I just did the username. Now you will notice that by default it says null. Null means there is no information here. It's not even an empty string. There is nothing stored here, which is actually different from an empty string. But because we added all of that in the first row, I have it available for the first one. But then in the rest of our auto incremented rows here, so 2, 3, 4, and 5, we have just the username that we typed in, just the first name, then the last name. And then we didn't enter anything for a phone or email. And I'll show you in the next video how we can update these rows to add information or change information. So I hope that's helpful. In the next video, yeah, we'll start looking at updating. So this was inserting. We just inserted more rows into our table. So this is our users table. And now we're actually storing data that we can retrieve later on. And we're going to talk more about the select statement. I did show the select statement here just so we can get everything, but we'll dive deeper into that select statement and show how it can be even more powerful to dive deeper into just getting individual rows or whatever we want to do there. So to get out of our command prompt for our MySQL database here, I'm just going to type exit, and it says bye. And now let's shut down our examp server. Opt lamp examp stop, and there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and hit clear here. And so I hope you're tracking. I hope you're not confused and that you are following along. Go ahead and practice and add a lot of rows to your database, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.